That was just my
Hey there,
thank you,
we're
honey.
back with Real Magic by Wayne Dyer. Happy Monday. We are on the list of things that you're supposed to do, 14 keys for creating a miracle mindset. And we're on number 9, which is learn to act as if the life you visualize were already here.
Is this basically fake it till you make it?
This is basic manifestation theory, is what this is. Um,
It is. It really reminds me of everything we've talked about so far.
mhm, yeah. I read a book that said that you can repeat yourself to the crowd many, many times. So,
Oh, I was reading, that you have to do something 5 times or something. Is that what you read, Andy? Or maybe you said that before too?
or yeah, the like people need like 13 exposures to notice something anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and I was listening to your episode with Ricky, um, in which he was t talking about being kind of ahead of his time in some ways, or ahead of his like the context in which he was a lot, and he feels like he has to say things 5 times. And I love the way he said it. He said so that it to help people build the synapses to understand what it is he's saying. I like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's it look
Mm-hmm.
like to act as if the life you visualize is already here? I mean, I guess it's like you just I think in some ways we could say vision is reality, not what's concrete outside of us is reality. If we see a vision for ourselves, if I'm like I'm the keynote on teleology at some conference, like that is real, even if it hasn't happened yet. Like, and that this would say live as if that is already happened. Like, yeah, I'm the keynote speaker on teleology, blah blah blah, just as if it's already happened. Is that kind of like how we do that?
Well, I think, yeah, sure, that's partly, I'd say you have to visualize yourself speaking at a conference. I mean, and I guess what I had this thought about us going around saying, well, I'm one of the foremost playwrights in the Northwest before it actually happened. You don't want to do that. You just want to visualize yourself being one of the foremost playwrights in the, and I don't, that's not really my goal, but I'm just saying you have to visualize yourself being that person or being in that situation. And then everything, uh, well, what we've talked about is that everything that you're visualizing may come to pass. Either it will happen some way because you're manifesting it, or you will do little things that you weren't aware of to make it happen.
I think there can be, this goes along the lines of being delusional versus being a mad manifester. Like Fern's an expert at this, like how she was going to manifest, she's manifesting her house, her $2 million
Yeah,
house. And she's like, yeah, when I'm at my house right now, I got my horses. And like, she does this one, like and that's one of her like activisms that she does that she's really brilliant at is like living as if it's already here. And it's
yeah,
like, I think Jay-Z's advice to me yesterday was build a vision board where you're keynoting and it says teleology and all this stuff. It's like, putting yourself in that situation is in a vision board is one of the ways that we do this. But I think living as if it's like you just do, it's like almost it is almost like choosing to be delusional in a productive way of just being like you're showing up on Facebook as if you were the keynote speaker. Like I don't know. I think this is an art form of like living as if it's already happening without seeming like a schizophrenic person. It's like, I don't know.
yeah, yeah. I think for me, it seems like I want to visualize myself in whatever it is I want, but I don't want to tell too many people about it because they're all going to sit around and go, "Oh,
Well, I think that part of the point is that you have to get other people to go along with your vision, and they can't do that. They won't get behind it if you're not acting like that first. And so I could speak to a specific example, right? I'm transgender. I had to say, like, all right, guys, use this name, use these pronouns. I'm gonna act this way and get everybody to go along with it. And I had a relatively easy transition in that way because I just like full on went with it, and then I just expected everybody else to do it too. And if you can do that, then they don't feel stupid. They feel stupid if they don't go along with it, you know? So in a way, I think it's like if you project the persona of a famous playwright, and you don't have to say that's what you are, but like you figure out what those little mannerisms are that like if you were this thing, your version of this thing, how would you act and what would you do and what like drink would you drink and what club would you go to and what kind of conversations would you have with your friends, like
Yeah,
you do those things and then it just happens.
Okay, you guys, I got news for you. I'm
Yeah.
a rosary maker.
Oh, right on.
yes, I saw that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally am.
Yeah, you're a rosary maker.
I make a lot of rosaries for a lot of people and I give them out and people are healed by that.
Yeah.
Look, I
Yeah.
got a rosary. I'm not
Nice.
lying.
Just
You
came
know?
out
Nice.
of nowhere.
And when I
I
have
talk,
a friend that needs a rosary, I'll be like, Andy, obviously, you know?
Because I lived as if I was that thing, then you
yeah,
believe it because I showed you it wasn't just a delusion. I have a rosary right here.
now you have a rosary.
Yeah, but because I showed you a picture of it online, you saw it once online, and now I just showed you on camera. And you know, I have beads. It's like it was. I did all the things to make a vision of that vision. I didn't just have the vision.
Right.
But GZ, remember
So
when
did you think, oh,
go ahead.
freezing again? I don't,
Well, you are by the mountain.
Turn
oh,
the heat up. Get it? I'm freezing. Turn the heat up.
why you guys, why am I,
So what were you gonna say though? Well, JZ, you remember when you read that manifestation book where it was
oh,
saying,
me? You guys are freezing.
oh, that's because my air conditioner's on. Hey,
Yeah.
JZ, you remember when we read that book? And it was saying that you should do your visualizations but not tell anyone about them. Remember that book?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that was the old school one. Right.
Which
Yeah,
book
yeah.
was that?
It works.
Because that kind of goes against this one, like you're not supposed to live as if you're supposed to just imagine it in your own mind and then just not tell anyone and then it will happen. And, like, what do you guys think of that versus this?
No, I think manifestation theory has moved on, but also that was in, 50s white American culture, right? And so maybe that guy had a different mindset because he was in a different culture and climate in which you were more expected to, follow the path of normalcy. So you got to keep some things under your radar.
Yeah, well, back in the day, you never wanted to say anything that wasn't a norm because people would look at you. Like I'm in telecommunication with my dog would really freak people out.
Yeah. Well, I think the big lesson here today is play the part that you want to roll. If you want to be a rock star, start looking and acting like a rock star.
Yeah,
And then when people capture pictures of you for the Facebook, you're like, oh, thanks for being my paparazzi. Like you just like I actually love to do this. Like whenever like I'm talking to some guy, I'm like, oh, thanks for being my bodyguard. Like I just like turn everyone into like a role. Like I'll be like, you're my paparazzi and you're my bodyguard. And it's like kind of funny to do this. It's like, but it is like what do they say? All life's a stage. Like put
Hmm.
yourself
yes.
in the character that you want to play in the stage of life and then go out and do it from there.
I think we put ourselves in roles we don't even realize we're doing it anyway. You might as well be deliberate about what you say and say, this is who I want to be. So I'm going to be in this role because Otherwise, you're in roles that are chosen for you. Like I'm an accountant, and then you start looking like an accountant, acting like an accountant, working like an accountant, but you may not even know all those things are happening to you. What you're
What's wrong with
talking
being
about,
an
Andy, I think is
accountant,
being deliberate.
Lumiere? What are you,
Oh,
anti-accountant?
nothing, nothing. No, no, no. No. I I was going to say some of my best friend are accountants. Are you an accountant?
No,
Is that
I
your
do have a
degree?
degree in mathematics though, and I was taking the actuarial exams because I love taking exams. But then I decided I didn't want to do that. But my sister
No,
was a
I just picked
CPA
that.
and now she's a CFO.
Oh, I see. Power hitters. I know. I just picked that. It could be lawnmower sales.
What do you got against lawnmower salesmen?
I love lawnmower sales. As long as
Gee.
they're selling lawnmowers to other people, and I never ever have to mow a lawn again.
As long as it's in their chart to be a lawnmower salesman.
Yeah,
That's right.
they chose it.
You got to live
So
your life purpose.
how does this play out in the chart? Becoming the role that you want to be. How will that work in your chart? Since you guys know astrology and I know bupkis about astrology.
Well, this is what mega manifestation is. We do that lecture a lot, and it's about figuring out what your life purpose is according to your chart, and then mega manifesting that role. So the way we teach people to learn their life purpose is to watch their transits hit their chart for about 2 straight years, and watch what your chart, your aspects of personality do repeatedly. If like every time something hits the 28th degree of my chart, I'm crocheting an animal. Then after 2 years of that, I'm like, oh, I'm here to crochet things. That's part of my life purpose. And so now I'm gonna play the role. The crocheter of animals, and like whatever. But you got to wait for your chart to kind of inform you of what it wants to do, and then you go about mega manifesting that.
That's funny. This really ties in with the stuff that I've been reading lately about I think maybe I mentioned this before, though I'm not sure. The scientific theory of like they used to think that like, you would have your identity and then you'd act like consistent with your identity. But really, what happens is, and it's because of this left brain, right brain experiments that they've done since then, or lately or whenever, that they realize that it's the storytelling side of your brain that sees what you do and then justifies it as that is my consistent with my identity and develops your identity that way.
So that supports playing the role, living as if, and then your mind starts to believe that that's you.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I
Huh.
think that's true. That's interesting, right?
That is interesting, and I think that's true too. So that's another argument for being deliberate.
It's
Like
saying if you want to achieve something that has always eluded you for this day, act as if it were already here.
that's great.
Yeah. Just bask in the feeling of having that thing. You don't actually need to have a thing to have that thing. You can just be like, oh, and then I am the keynote speaker. Like, well, actually, I'm more interested in teleology being the keynote. I actually don't care well, I think I would give a good talk on it, but you know what I mean? Like, teleology
Yeah.
is the keynote today. Like, yeah, go teleology. It's like I can just bask in that reality mentally. I could even make a video of it happening, even if it doesn't really happen. That's one of my favorite things to do is make a video of the thing I want to happen.
Video manifestation theory.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then
That
you
is.
can, return the emails of all the people that are emailing you about it, and then you can, then you can write Facebook messages back to the people that are Facebook messaging you about it, and then you can make beads for them.
So, JC, what would it look like for you to behave as if you have a boyfriend?
Oh, I can. decide what we're gonna have for dinner and then like make a nice dinner. Um, I can ah, clean up the house a little because I like it to be nice. I can think of fun things that we might want to do, you know, and do a little research of some like fun games we could play or things like that. You know, it's funny, I am doing these things and then I'm using them on my friends. So it's all working out anyway, you know?
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I have an example of that too. When I was alone for whenever I was alone, I thought I don't want to practice being alone. I want to practice being with someone. So I ate at the dinner table instead of on the sofa or in bed watching movies, and I kept the house the way it was, and I set the dinner table and that sort of thing. I put up a Christmas tree, even if it was just for me, because I thought it was practice for being with somebody. So when I was with somebody, I didn't have to learn all that stuff. I was already there. And I don't know if that worked or not, but it works for 7 years and then people get done with me. But
Stuck with us for life. Sorry.
Yeah.
yeah,
We're the
that's
longevity
good.
artists.
So, well, Andy, you've already eclipsed the 7 years because I've known you since Truman was president. But Jay-Z, we'll see in 7 years.
Oh,
It,
Jay-Z's a long-termer too.
is he?
Oh yeah,
He'll be like,
absolutely.
"Oh God, is he in this video again?"
No, that's a good point. I also do think that like all of this stuff that we're saying actually likes makes life better for you in the meantime too. Like I like to eat on plates, like with
Yeah,
silverware
yeah,
on the table, you know, and I like to treat myself well. I like to like make my bed in the morning because I like to the bed to be made when I want to go to bed.
that's right.
I enjoy those things, and I know not everybody enjoys them or cares about them, but I do, and I want to also establish that as my habit. So when the other person does come along, like that's the kind of person they see me as, and so they go
Yes,
along with that too, you know?
Yeah.
yeah,
I
and
like looking at
they'll
road
like
trips.
it. They may not want to do it, but they'll like it. And no one will ever say, "Oh, he makes the bed every morning. That sucks." They may say he makes the bed every morning. I hope he doesn't expect me to do that. They may say that, but but they'll like it.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I guess in our manifestations, there are usually goals or something that would be better for our life. And so living as if it's true would better our life anyway. So let's looking at it as like a leveling up experience.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
to figure that out. But yes,
Okay, should we move on to number 10, which is live according to your spiritual self first and your physical self second. Make choices based exclusively on the part of you that is spiritual and knows how to guide you in the physical world. So what's this look like to live according to your spiritual self first and your physical self second?
Well, this sounds to me like trust your intuition.
Okay, well, I want to speak to this very realistically. So I'm helping Jay-Z manifest his boyfriend, and they keep talking about bodies. They're always like, "Oh, I want to find a man and like get with a man, and like the men will get together and whatever." And I'm just like, "Yeah, but this has to get together first, or else none of this is going to get together. It just doesn't work. You can't. It like the horses never ride like they never ride like. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know, but it's like." They're always like writing and being like talking, and then they're like, oh, but it's like you kind of do have to live in the vision center first and then let your body follow, and then the things will be magical.
yeah. I think you have to start simple, but yeah, I agree. You have to live in the vision center first. I mean, if you're going into a place where there are a lot of rich available men,
I
right?
thought you were gonna
If
say
you're going
hot,
into a place
sweaty
with
men.
hot, sweaty, available men, let's take rich out of that. I was just joking, but hot, sweaty, available. Well, I don't know if Jay-Z likes sweaty, but sweaty, available men. You can't. If, and you walked in there saying, "I know there's a table of hamburgers here somewhere. I'm going to find that." That's what you'll find. But if you say, "There's a sweaty, available guy here for me," that's what you'll find.
But what's it look like to go spirit first? You would say I'm looking for the most spiritually compatible sweaty man out of this group.
Yeah, yeah,
Spirit.
I'd say, yeah, that makes sense. Hmm.
So that mean to me that would say feeling. I have to feel this. I don't want to go in with a checklist. Hot, available, sweaty, paid off their car. I don't want to do that. I just want to go and have a feeling. So when you look at each other across the room, before you know anything about anything, you have to have this feeling like, yeah, baby.
Well, I feel like the
That
astrologers are used to this. We look at something called the composite chart, which is, or the, the synastry charts, which is we look at how the spirits combine of the two people and whether or not that calculation is good or not. And we calculate spirit first and then body second. At least I do. Like if I was arranging a marriage in astrology, I would not consider the body shape or form in the arrangement of the marriage.
no, I absolutely agree. I mean, we're very superficial people as a race. So we might be tempted to look at that. I mean, most of the apps are all about looks, and
Yeah, I'm kind of like digging the pastor at the Bible study I go to, and it's like I can't even look at him too long because I feel like he can feel me like being curious about him, and then he feels like he had a lustful thought or something like that. So it's like I have to like be like really clean in spirit when I even think about him because he's like all of those guys are like really sensitive, to spirit and stuff. But it's like I'm more interested in hanging out with spirits I like than to like even like, body mingle. Like I would rather hang out with you guys than body mingle.
well,
That's
I would like to hang out with you guys and then go body mingle.
Yeah.
That's true. That's legit. Me too. I want it all, baby.
Yeah, and you can have it all.
Well, what's it look like to live spiritually first and physically second? What about if you have a body ache or a body pain? How do we live spirit first?
Well, I don't know is the right answer, but I have bad knee right now, and I keep thinking I'm going to understand something about me or the world by the pain that I'm experiencing. And I don't mean to sound like Bernadette Subaru or Joan of Arc or anybody that has had a lot of pain and they're suffering martyrs. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to think that it's a teachable moment. So that, like, how can I make this spiritual? I guess is the real question. This is a very physical thing. I do not want to think about, oh, my knees hurt, my knees hurt, my knees hurt. I do not want to do that. So if my knees hurt, how, I mean, of course you are going to think that, but how do you make this spiritual? How is it that you can find some path where you're not obsessing about whatever pain you're feeling? And a little whiskey helps.
When I had a toothache recently, it really brought my consciousness like into my body. Like all I could think about was like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy that like I am this thing in this body and like there's nothing you can do about it except like I mean an hour later I'll still be this thing in this body and this toothache won't have killed me. But in the meantime, I'm sitting here and it really does hurt. And how am I going to get through another 3 days until my dentist appointment? Like, there's no way I can do that. And then I made myself like get up and move around and do other things. And then I forgot about my toothache for a second. And then like an hour later, I remembered and I'm like, see, I didn't feel the toothache then, but then
Yeah.
it doesn't really help. Like then you feel it again and it like really hurts. It honestly really hurts. And then I'm back to like, I can't bear this until Monday when they open. Like, I think that pain really does trigger spiritual thinking.
I agree. Sorry about your tooth.
Oh yeah, they yanked it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the Well Body book. I thought she was going to bring up something about teeth.
Well, this book it like teaches you to like become your own doctor and like ask your spirit what's wrong and all this stuff. And I think, you know, yeah, there's a whole like line of medicine that's like goes to your spirit when you're in pain. I mean, um,
And that's what that book tries to do.
yeah, it's kind of from the 70s or something. It's just kind of spiritual, but
Those hippies knew what they were talking about.
I mean, we're
Oh,
supposed to learning to having a magical mindset, and I guess it or a miracle mindset. And I guess if you look at your toothache as a miracle, that would be to think about the spirit mind body connection, or you know.
Well, I think it is kind of magical that it does make you think about mortality and like yeah, it's like a moment to really dig into those things that you don't think about because you're just going about your day otherwise.
yeah, yeah.
It's pretty
All right,
mad.
well, don't be a physicalist, be a spiritualist. Okay, the next one, number 11, is study the paradox. You can never get enough of what you don't want. What does that even mean? You can never get enough of what you don't want.
But if you try sometime, you just might find.
You can never get enough of what you don't want. What does that mean?
But the alcoholic despises the alcohol that consumes his life, and he can never seem to get enough of it. So too with the drug addict.
Oh,
The
because you're never satisfied.
Well, they call it the hungry ghost in Buddhism. It's like this part of you that's just like more, 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 more. And I would say like this is if you don't want something, it becomes like an obsession if you keep visioning that thing. Like what like I found the paradox of addiction of like, why do I want to drink? Do I want to drink? Why do I want to drink? And all you can imagine is drink, 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 drink. So I
Yeah.
guess if you're focusing on what you don't want, you're actually focusing on that thing.
It reminds me of an old Borscht Belt joke, which somebody says in the Borscht Belt, like, what do you think of this hotel? And the other person says, well, the food is so lousy and the portions are so small.
That's funny.
So yeah, you
It says the answer to this riddle of getting to the point of not craving what is poison to us is to understand what we mean by a want. Um, the Zen saying goes, when you seek it, you cannot find it. Isn't this the manifestation lesson of don't focus on the thing you don't want, focus on the thing you do want?
it sounds like it, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to keep saying, I'm going to trip if I go down there stairs with this pile of stuff. I'm going to trip because you'll trip.
What's the antidote? What's the other way to do
I'll
that?
make it. I can make it. I can make it. I got too much stuff in my hands, but I can make it. I can make it. This will work. I can make it. Then it will work. When you seek it, you cannot find it. The Zen saying. I don't know. That seems counter productive. I am incomplete without that which I crave.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I understand this one so much because it is kind of that thing that people give the advice of like, like you're gonna be looking for a boyfriend, looking for a boyfriend, looking for a boyfriend, and then when you let go of the need to have a boyfriend, then life will magically provide one for you.
Yes, I bought that theory for a while. Have you ever found that to be true?
Uh, Not so much. I mean, like, if you need a job, you gotta keep trying to get a job. You don't just like give up on trying to get a job and then magically you'll get one.
Right. It'll
Like,
come to me.
but
Yeah.
I guess there is a bit of like, sometimes if you're too much of a try hard, it's kind of a turn off.
Well, I think this one is not focusing on obsessing on things that we want. It's when we obsess on something we don't want. Like if you're a smoker and you're like, I don't want to be a smoker, I don't want to be a smoker. All you're visioning is smoker, smoker, smoker. So when you learn to quit smoking, you're supposed to say, I am a non-smoker, because that creates a vision of a non-smoker.
Hmm.
You don't want to be like, I don't want a cigarette, I don't want to smoke, I don't want to smoke. You want to be like, I am a non-smoker, I'm a non-smoker, I'm a non-smoker.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is like, be careful what you don't want.
Yeah. And don't obsess about like I got to give up sour cream and chips. Keep saying that, you won't do it.
You'll probably start eating more and more of it.
Yeah, because then it'll come into your head and you'll have a picture of sour cream and chips. I don't want to eat sour cream and chips. Oh, sour cream and chips.
Daisy, maybe you could imagine I'm coupled up. I'm coupled up. That's a good image.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one.
Like you wouldn't say, I don't want to be single. I don't want to be single. I don't want to be single. You'd be like, I'm coupled up. I'm coupled up. I'm coupled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? To be honest though, like I don't not want to be single. I mean, I don't. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Because and maybe this is part of the part that's preventing me from actually getting a boyfriend is that like you got to make space for that other thing to really happen, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty busy and I like doing all the things that I do and then sometimes I'm tired and it's nice to have the downtime. And I think like, oh, it's really great to have the downtime. And it's great to like, make only the foods that I want to eat. And it's great to like, there are so many advantages. I think that that's part also of what's like, holding me back in this case study.
So you're not completely envisioning being with somebody.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, and I think maybe Andy, with you just saying like, I'm coupled up. I'm coupled up. I'm like thinking to myself, like, all right, I'll have to figure out what does that look like and how does it not ruin all the good things in my
How
life?
about this? I'm perfectly, oh my God, that's no males. I'm perfectly coupled up in a very balanced situation.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all those things you were just talking about, there's a way to do them even coupled up.
What you don't want there is to be smothered. I don't want to be smothered. I don't want to be smothered. I don't want, don't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
Okay.
would say that instead of thinking I want to be coupled, just think about being coupled. Like, oh, isn't that adorable the way he steals all the covers, you know? Or, oh, he left all the cabinet doors. Isn't that cute? Or, or he made me coffee. He brought me coffee in bed. Isn't that great? I love it when he brings me coffee in bed.
Oh,
Don't
you
get
let
that
me
on
do
the
my
bed.
own thing.
Yeah. I'm going to go
Yeah.
off and read today and listen to Strawberry Alarm Clock. And so I'll see you around 4. Okay? Sure.
Well, actually, so my vision is more like oh, we're gonna both sit in the living room and each read our own books. I'm really into parallel play.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really into that, yeah, like, oh, you know, I have like a built-in person who wants to do fun things instead of like trying to seek out and find like, does this friend want to do it? Does that friend want to do it? Does this friend want to do it? Like somebody there who wants to do all these fun and adventurous things with me, you know?
Yeah,
So that's kind of the vision that I have.
I like that vision. I like that vision.
Yeah, you can be like
But
a
you're thinking
boyfriend
about it.
who's on an appropriate rubber band of closeness and farness.
Yes.
All right, you guys, that was our episode.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
That was fast.
dang. How
Dang.
quickly time
Yeah.
flies.
How quickly we manifested the end of that.
All right,
Okay.
this was not the horse episode. That was the
Sorry.
last
That was
episode.
the last, the horse episode.
I'm manifesting the horse show.
You're manifesting a horse series.
No, I was showing how you and your boyfriend are equally together and apart, like in a very balanced equation.
Oh, look
Oh,
at those guys over there.
oh,
See how balanced they are?
it's a goose.
They're not like laying on each other's face, smothered. This is what
No.
you don't want. It's like someone laying on your face, smothering you.
Yeah, yeah, don't do
Yeah,
that.
you don't want that. Where are you going? Just taking out the trash. Oh, are you going to be right back?
Mm, I love your
Oh,
spirit. I love your
I like
spirit.
parallel play too.
All right. Well, thanks for having a three-way parallel talk play.
What is
bye.
bye?
Bye bye.